Hey, this is Pat, and today we are checking out the all-new Leatt 5.5 ADV gloves. Now, we've seen Leatt really jump into the adventure market with a lot of cool jackets and a lot of cool pants, and we're going to see a lot of gloves start to match with that off-road riding style from someone that's either riding some touring, doing a little touring ADV, or just hopping off the highway to hit some dual sport routes on your big bike, or even just dual sport riding. These gloves can do a lot. I'd actually really love these even on my trail bike, on my YZ250. I'd love to be rocking these as well, just because it gives a little bit of knuckle protection, but a lot of features that I like when it comes to a little abrasion if I am connecting the trails out there. Really solid improvements from Leatt across the board when it comes to a lot of the features and a lot of the knuckles, but something I really dig, especially for the $65 price point. I know Spurgeon swears by his Leatt gloves. He uses a different model, but I think he'll really like these ones as well, given that it uses a lot of the same features and has a lot of great tactile feel, I should say, while also providing protection off-road. But before I get too long-winded, let's talk about the features. I mentioned it's $65 in its price as we're currently shooting the video. Extra small all the way up to 3 extra large is the sizing. It comes in 2 colors. I got the black over on my left and this burnt orange color, which I think is pretty rad, which matches a lot of the KTMs out there, especially with the gray and orange combo. So I really like this styling here. True to size, I measure my hand about 8.75 inches in the circumference all the way around on my dominant hand, and a size large is fitting me spot on. One thing I would note is that when you're looking at the fitment, a little bit longer and narrower in the fingers. So if you are someone with longer, narrower fingers, you might want to look at these Leatts, or just really any Leatts, because they always tend to have a tighter fit around there if that's important to you. I know it's important to Spurge. I know I always look forward in my gloves to match the finger just as much as the palm. Really solid option here from Leatt. Let's start up at the wrist though, work our way down, talk about all the features, see if this is right for your riding style. Up at the cuff, you do have a single Velcro entry up at the top. We'll say it's a little tighter to get on. I know Spurgeon's even modified his just by cutting out a little piece just to make it for his bigger hands to get into the gloves. I like that it's a tight fit all the way around, and it's like a neoprene-esque material that just keeps it nice and tight up against your entire cuff, so it's not gonna be in the way, it's not gonna grip onto anything. If you're wearing it with a jacket, it's gonna be totally fine, but also really nice pull handle to get them on a little bit easier. It does come with some tags on the inside that, personally, if it was mine, I'd cut away right as soon as I got it, but the tags do go up and into the palm, so you can cut that away or just tuck them up in towards the cuff if you really need to. Out on the outer ulna, you do have what they're calling their ReaFlex TPR ulna guard here, just to give a little bit of brush guarding on the outside. If you clip a branch, if you clip a rock or anything like that, it kicks up, you do have that protection on your ulna bone as it sticks out. Working our way down the back of the hand though, one thing I want to call out, all this orange you're seeing on here, it's going to be black on the other version, but all the orange you're seeing here is a 4-way stretch ripstop material. So if it does tear, it's going to stop itself before it continues, but it is 4-way stretch and really a lot of movement. Again, these are fresh out of the bag. It's going to be something that you can see just how much movement I'm getting with them. It's not going to hinder while you're gripping the controls, while you're moving around on the bike. I really like when brands use 4-way stretch, especially in the back of the hand, really thin too. I can feel it all the way through to my hand, which is something I look for in off-road gloves. It's going to be something that, again, these are aimed at anybody hitting the trails. You might want to add a little bit more beef if you're on the road, but having these tucked away, they don't take up much space, and they're going to be great for those trail days when you're hitting the trails. Up at the knuckles, you do have the same ulna material up there, their TPR ReaFlex material. It is really malleable. You can see just how much it moves. Lots of ventilation points to get to that ventilated 4-way stretch. Really comfortable, and you can see it extends up the pinky and the ring finger a little bit, but really good coverage, something that's gonna be nice and protective if you should go down, or again, if you're just clipping branches as you're going through some tight brush. A little bit of reflective at the Leatt logo at the back of the hand, a little bit more reflective at the trigger fingers as you're actually controlling it, and you can really just see how much movement I have with my my fingers. Really easy to grab the controls, move around on the bike, whatever you got to do. That's partly because of the stretch at the fourchettes right in the middle. It's going to ventilate a little bit of air to your hand, but also just give maximum movement running down. One thing I always like from Leatt, you don't see too many seams running up the entire back of the hand. You do have this one seam at the knuckles of the fingers. Can catch your hand when you're putting them on. Something that's going to break in though over time. When I flip it over, you can really see the only seams on here silhouette the entire finger and even have the outline of a finger shape. Really comfortable, really soft material. This is their NanoGrip material. It's like 7,500 times thinner than a human hair. Really grippy, especially in wet conditions. So if you're someone that's riding in a mudder, or if you just get caught into a rainstorm, it's actually going to get grippier on your controls as you start riding. So love this material. They use it in all their Pro MX gloves, all of their off-road line. line. I love to see it here in more of an ADV style. You can kind of see it has almost like a suede movement to it, but it's very soft. You can really feel the controls with a little bit of foam reinforcement across the palm. That's a heavy wear area, something that anybody who rides usually has calluses all across there. So I like that they're reinforcing it with a little bit of foam underneath there. And the cool part about NanoGrip is that all of the fingers are touch tech, because that material is so thin and has such grip on there, and it can allow the fingers to pass through if you are using your phone as navigation or GPS, or you're just stopping on the trails to check your messages or just figure out where you are, like I'm usually doing. You have the easy ability to do that. And even for my watch, I can easily move it up and down. It's really nice having that material on there, again, with the added grip. Not only do they use the NanoGrip, they're actually using some deflection material, which is almost like an aramid abrasion resistant material. That's why I say you can usually get, from trail to trail if you are hopping on the road, you do have that abrasion resistant material here. But if I was spending a lot more time on the road, I'd probably switch to something a little bit more designed for road abrasion than something like this that's designed for gravel roads, a little bit of tarmac at lower speeds. But it's nice that they're having that nice abrasive reinforced material. You do have foam underneath of that at the palm landing zones. Should you hit the deck, you have a little bit of extra confidence there. And you can even see, if I turn to the side, it comes about halfway up the outer seam. So good coverage. Again, if you hit the deck and you slide, you want that seam to be intact, so they're covering it with that abrasion resistant material. I would have loved to seen it go up the pinky a little bit more, but I fear that would have made it a little bit harder to move the pinky. And just how much movement you have there, even with the TPR on top, I really wouldn't want that to be hindered, again, for something that you're going to be using and moving around with a ton out there. That NanoGrip goes up the thumb as well, but really just an overall grippy palm that's going to help you stay on the bars and give you that added protection with the deflection at the back of the hand. But that's pretty much it for the Leatt 5.5 ADV gloves. Again, for $65, I think Leatt is packing one hell of a punch in adding the features with the ReaFlex TPR, with the reflective built in, the deflection, and the NanoGrip technology. It's really punching well above its price point, if you ask me. But if you have any other questions, click that info button. That's going to take you over to the product page where you can read other rider reviews and see what other riders are saying about these all new gloves. Don't just take my word for it. But if you have any questions after that, or you have questions on sizing, reach out to our customer service agents. They're all riders, happy to help you get set up for your next ride. I want to thank you for joining me and checking out the Leatt 5.5 ADV gloves. I'm Pat. I'll see you in the next video.